Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Unfortunately, over the course of the past few days, more and more information has surfaced regarding some bad news for Call of Duty. It's definitely a rough time for this to happen as well. Obviously, Black Ops 6 sort of winding down for the year. We've got Season 5, Season 6 left on the horizon, and then we're shifting into Black Ops 7. And we've seen several different leaks and rumors for Black Ops 7, primarily focused around multiplayer, zombies, and the campaign. We've heard surprisingly little on what's going on with Warzone within Black Ops 7. If Avalon is or is not going to be a map for that, it's been rumored that it's been shifted just for zombies and open world campaign stuff. Does that mean Verdansk is continuing on? What's the future like for that? And then in addition to that, we have this information that surfaced over the past few days. Starts first with a post from Charlie Intel saying Xbox's Phil Spencer confirms layoffs impacting Microsoft's gaming unit in an internal memo shared with the staff. Quote, to position gaming for enduring success and allow us to focus on strategic growth areas, we will end or decrease work in certain areas of the business. He puts out this whole memo, but to sum it up, in a statement, Microsoft says 4% of the entire company is affected by today's layoffs, around 9,000 employees. If you've been on social media the past few days, I'm sure you've heard about this. This is a massive layoff for Microsoft's gaming division. It's not clear yet how many of those impacted are in the Xbox division, but in the time since, we've learned more and more, and it's definitely alarming for Call of Duty. So Charlie Intel ends up reporting, as does Insider Gaming, so two of basically the best possible sources we have for info like this, saying new. Today's Xbox layoffs are also impacting Call of Duty studios. Layoffs are still ongoing, but Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software have been affected so far. Now, this is where a huge chunk of the concern and a huge chunk of the bad news is for Call of Duty in specific. Sledgehammer and Raven, arguably right now, are the two most trustworthy studios. Obviously, Warzone's been kind of a roller coaster. I don't know if that's as much on Raven as it is just the situation that goes on with Warzone, having to adapt so quickly to the premium title and just not having enough time to fully have things set up. I do think they have missed on several updates this year. They've also had some changes in leadership with Ted Timmons going away, which I think is largely impactful. But Sledgehammer has proven time and again they know what they're doing. They're plenty capable, even in some very not so great circumstances, whereas Treyarch and Infinity Ward obviously have had some big misses from the community's POV. There's been a lot of lack of trust and broken trust there with their recent titles. But Sledgehammer and Raven being impacted right now. Why is this so concerning? Well, coming up, as I alluded to at the start with Black Ops 7, we're going to see another significant Warzone integration update. What Raven is working on right now while still doing stuff for Season 4 Reloaded as it stands, Season 5, Season 6, the stuff that they have planned for the remainder of this year, which is largely, I would assume at this point, some smaller scale stuff. They have the grand plan all out there and ready. They're just working on it now, getting things finished and polished to end out the year. They have the Black Ops 7 integration update, as the next big thing. And if there's less hands on deck to work on that, that could in and of itself be very concerning. So the Raven stuff outright is concerning just because Warzone is really in a situation where it can't afford to fail more. It desperately needs to get it right and to have an integration update go very smoothly and for things to go smooth throughout the year as well. So layoffs now, when development is full steam ahead on this stuff and making sure that this integration update is, underway and ready, that's concerning. And then you also have Sledgehammer, and you might be saying, okay, but Black Ops 7 is Treyarch's title, why is Sledgehammer so concerning at this point? Well, it's also been reported in recent weeks that Sledgehammer is leading a large chunk of the development for Black Ops 7 multiplayer. And obviously, Sledgehammer's coming off of MW3, where the multiplayer knocked it out of the park. It was largely successful. So a lot of the news around when Sledgehammer was leaked to be working and rumored to be working on Black Ops 7 multiplayer is, suddenly there's a little bit more potential there, Your thoughts on it might have changed going into it. Is it going to be messy like Black Ops 6 multiplayer was this year, where things really had a large hiccup after launch and it just never really recovered correctly? That was good news at the time. Sledgehammer now taking over a large chunk of multiplayer development. And now they have less people to work on that, and they should be working on COD 2027 right now as well. They have the helping hands in working on Black Ops 7, and then also they're working on their next full project, which hopefully for once actually gets a full dev cycle. I feel like they could knock it out of the park even more if they actually had proper time to work on all of their full titles, but it muddies the water a ton here for the near future and the long-term future as well. So definitely not very promising news here across the board between Sledgehammer and Raven. this is not unfortunately exclusive to Microsoft and, Call of Duty here. The gaming industry right now really seems to be struggling with job security, which is insanely unfortunate because there's so many talented people that I've already seen on my timeline that I've interacted with or followed for some time saying they're unfortunately no longer doing things, which really sucks to see, and I feel for these people a lot, and it's a tough time in general for the entire space. Unfortunately, that's still not all of it though. Charlie Intel goes on to post, Highmoon Studios is also affected by today's layoffs at Xbox per sources. Highmoon has been working as a Call of Duty studio on Warzone and other premium game support aspects. They've worked on some of the map development for Warzone in the past, doing some of the other side resurgence maps, other support things there, and then helping out where needed on multiplayer and other elements of the game. Basically just as a support studio, helping out when necessary, which it's oftentimes necessary with how messy Call of Duty developments can be, and with so many cooks in the kitchen, oftentimes just having someone there to back up what's going on in development or fill in situations where things are a little bit too chaotic and that just needs to get done. You have less hands on deck now. It's typically not a great situation, especially given, again, a large chunk of their focus was on Warzone, and a major integration update is not that far into the future at this point. 2 seasons away, basically, or really 3, I guess, if you're counting the preseason of Black Ops 7, right? But still, half a year away in that sense. It's tough. Like that does cause, in my opinion, a lot of concern for what could be the Black Ops 7 Warzone integration. And then while we're on the subject, this is also pretty big news and could heavily impact Call of Duty as well, again, if it comes to fruition. Hope originally reports on this, and Hope's got good sources. He's been accurate on so many things when it comes to inside info, so there's definitely a track record there, but there has been some expanded details in this situation. Hope initially reported saying, exclusive, Phil Spencer's going to be retiring from his role as CEO of Microsoft Gaming after the launch of the next generation Xbox. Hope also leaked that should be happening potentially next year, like Xbox Prime or whatever, and Modern Warfare 4 could actually be a launch title for that. Phil Spencer is working closely with Sarah Bond and her team to ensure a smooth transition for her to take over as CEO of Microsoft Gaming once he retires. Unclear as of yet who would take over as president of Xbox when Sarah Bond becomes the CEO. However, Xbox did actually respond to this, and there's a community note here saying Xbox has directly addressed this tweet, and Phil Spencer says he has no plans to retire. So Hope does quote this, and Tom Warren ends up reporting saying Phil Spencer is not retiring as the chief of Xbox anytime soon. But here's the thing, you can say that, but soon could mean anything. They could say, oh, he's not going to retire as soon as in the next 2 months. That's soon. Is soon in the gaming scene a year, 2 years? What's the case here? Microsoft has responded to online rumors following its major layoffs today. Details below, and he basically goes on to say that Phil Spencer denies that there's a retirement incoming. Hope does say Microsoft have commented on this and said Phil is not retiring anytime soon. Who you choose to believe from here is up to you. I just post stuff I hear from trusted sources and don't mind if I end up getting it wrong, but it is a situation to monitor for sure, as Xbox in general right now, obviously they take over Call of Duty. They really haven't had anything major, a significant win, if you will, in some time. I mean, compared to PlayStation, their console sales definitely don't hit it off the same, and so it's interesting to see the future here and what could potentially be happening for the gaming division, which now, because of that takeover, because Microsoft and Xbox now own Activision Blizzard, it will directly impact Call of Duty on some very potential large fronts. So it's certainly a situation we've got to monitor for sure. That being said, some pretty concerning news all across the board. It really does suck to see, especially at this time of the year when things are probably in a pretty chaotic spot with the development finishing up on the current game and so much happening in development to get ready for the launch of the next game as well. But that's going to wrap things up for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, you want to make sure you're always up to date with everything going on, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.